here away in red-hot form.
That's the way. Look at that stump smashed.
Their foreign recruits are justifying their star billing.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Outstanding. A big man diving in front.
No, don't ball him there. Don't ball him there.
It has been rough sailing for Karachi. Promising starts, the team has failed to cross the finish line in most games. With a solitary win so far, MI2T and his men are hoping it will not be a repeat of the nightmarish campaign last year. Can Multan continue their dominance in their first away match from home? Countdown has started for the first match of Sunday's two blockbusters.
Well, it's a glorious day here in Karachi. Actually pretty hot when you compare to Multan and some of the other games that we've had. They've all been in the evening, but it all sets up nicely for this match in the HPL PSL. It's match number 14 with the Karachi Kings. They're taking on Multan Sultans, the table toppers. Well, Karachi struggling at that number 5 spot. They've lost 4 of the games. They are perhaps going to look at a lot of the games and think they could have won some of them at least. They came close but couldn't really go over the line. Multan Sultans, though, leading the table with 8 points. And remember, the top 4 teams will be qualifying for the playoffs. Hello and welcome to Pitchside. It's nice to be here in the day, but it's actually quite hot indeed. We've had our umbrellas out as well. Nick Knight is pretty much steaming up. All the sweat is coming off. Rouge as well. Not expecting these kind of conditions. We've got the umbrellas out as well. And I think what's happening is that things are hotting up in the middle over there on the field as well. We're seeing Multan Sultans have been doing so well, and Multan Sultans have been doing well. On the other hand, Karachi Kings, Arooj, have not been doing well. And in so many of their games, you look at how they've played, you probably like to think they should have won that. Even the last one, 7 of 4, should have won that.
Yep, just feel like things haven't gone their way yet again, but in a different fashion compared to last year. Last year, I just thought that their combinations, the way they played, sort of all fell behind a little bit. And Imad's been quite right about this. He's reiterated the fact that we've played good cricket, but we haven't been able to get over the line. But in a league like this, that's what matters. You need to get over the line. Maybe 3 out of those games that they've already played, they should have gotten over the line. And there's something that is quite not right for him. Whether finishing off with the ball and finishing off with the bat, that's actually a reason why they've been struggling.
What about Multan Sultans then, Nick? I mean, what's been going right for them? It seems everything's been going right for them.
Well, I think what they've done better than most of the other sides is they put together pretty complete performances, and tight games have been won. I mean, you look at the scoreboards and the tables and say, do you know what, they've won 4 out of 5, they're going really well. What they've done, a little bit in contrast to what Rouge was saying there about Karachi, they've won the tight moments. And when you win tight moments as a dressing room, that's almost one of the best things you can have in that environment, because you know someone. It might be Miller, it might be Pollard, it might be someone at the top, Rizwan, it might be Asanullah with the ball. Someone's going to do something special when it matters most. And that's been the contrast, really, between these two sides.
I mean, you talk about that Karachi lineup, and you've got the likes of Shoaib Malik. Imad Wasim's been in good form. He's shown good form. And they have options. I mean, the number 1 T20 bowler in the world who hasn't been utilized properly. I mean, the names are there, Arooj.
I said this earlier as well. I just felt that they still haven't put out their best 11. I still feel Tabriz Shamsi deserves a game. I also feel that they're lacking that middle order finisher in somebody like a Riley Rousseau or David Miller or Tim David or Azam Khan. They've got the names. I just feel, and like Nick just said, they haven't been able to win the crucial moments. They haven't been able to finish off the games in their favor. And that's what just really, and they're bottom of the table.
Well, the big news from the centre is that Mohammad Amir was undergoing a fitness test. And, you know, we're still kind of waiting on whether he has recovered completely or not.
The big news from the middle is it's absolutely roasting hot as well. I mean, it's absolutely roasting hot out there. There are a few games where you think to yourself, I wouldn't mind getting out there and playing again. This is not one of those.
How important is he? I mean, he's perhaps been lacking in pace when you compare Amir to the guy who bowled a couple of years back. That's been one area that he has struggled. He's not really been at his very best, has he, Aruj?
See, the expectation from Amir is to pick up wickets. He's not your container. He's not somebody who just holds the game together. He's your impact player. In terms of Karachi Kings and how they utilize Amir, he's supposed to be your impact player, and he hasn't been able to deliver that impact. On the other hand, where, again, bowling in tandem and bowling in partnerships has been their problem. We talk about batting in partnerships. It is very important. What Mohammad Hasnain and Naseem Shah do, Haris Rauf and Shaheen do, and they've got their spinners. Get your combinations right. I just still feel Tabriz Shamsi gets a game, and the fact that they haven't been able to apply pressure in partnerships in bowling.
I mean, you go through different phases as a player. When you're young, enthusiastic, and you've got all the energy, don't fear things quite as much. You go out and bowl aggressively like Mohammad Amir. You've got the pace to back that up. You can get wickets in a different way. When you get to more the back end of your career, you have to be a bit canny. You have to take the pace off. You can still have that aggressive mindset, but you're not going to bounce people out as much. You're not going to perhaps get wickets how you used to. And so it's tinkering with what your strengths are at this point in your career, rather than trying to think that that's how I'm always going to do it. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work out like that.
Yeah, you got to evolve with time as well. But let's have a look at Multan Sultans and what they've got in their squad. Pretty much everything going right for them. And the good news for them, Nick, is that their captain is scoring runs and he's leading the way.
Absolutely, Zainab. I mean, this is almost as important as anything when we talk about teams and lineups. If your captain is firing, then it makes it easier for him to stand up in front of the team, dictate terms, etc. He's been absolutely awesome. Josh Little's out, you know, he didn't play the part in the competition. Dahani as well. So there are a couple of bowlers who might well have played a lot in the game light, and to think that they've still got bowling resources that are doing really, really well, that says a lot about the squad that we just put up there.
Anything in particular that you've picked out with regards to Rizwan and his batting?
Well, I try not to get too forensic with these things because, let's face it, he's playing brilliantly and he's scoring lots of runs. The one area, if we can just put up, and I did this a bit with Bubba a few games ago, if you're in opposition, you're looking at, OK, he's playing well, he's scoring lots of runs. Where's he scoring those runs? Well, no surprise, perhaps, those that have seen him play. A lot behind square and square of the wicket on the leg side, not so much on the offside. So that might be just an area where he can target and say, do you know what, maybe I can improve my offside game a little bit. Maybe I can look to hit through extra cover and down the ground a bit more. Maybe that might increase my strike rate a little bit more. And also from a bowling perspective, you're thinking, where can I bowl to someone like Rizwan in this form? It might just be that you bowl a little further outside off stump and then hope that, you know, he still come across and try and hit your leg side, but try and work out where you're most likely to stop him scoring.
And that point actually backs up because in the recent T20 World Cup, you saw teams attacking him outside that off stump from a good length. And he did probably lose his wicket, say, I think 3 or 4 times to that length and to those areas. So that's somewhere, and the discussion is not about picking on negativity. It's about where we see somebody can expand their game. And Rizwan's very confident in his game because he does say, it's my wish and I'm very confident and I can play the offside. So he's got that game. He just prefers to drag stuff onto the leg side because he's very good with that.
Well, he's been integral to the success of Multan Sultans over the years. He's been really leading them well and, more importantly, scoring runs with the bat, which is why he features in a numbers game today. Right, you're talking about Mohammad Rizwan, the leader. You look at these numbers that we have for you. Since 2021, 130.95 is his strike rate, and he's also got the most amount of runs, 1,375 in 29 innings. I mean, just in terms of, obviously, nothing to take away from his achievements, and a lot has been discussed with regards his strike rate, Nick. I mean, that seems to be a topic of national debate when it comes to Mohammad Rizwan. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, my thoughts are a couple of things, really. One, your strike rate is dependent on how your team performance is going. If you're opening batsman, you're 10 for 3, your strike rate will take a dip, understandably. We saw that Martin Guptill brilliantly a game here a few days ago. You have to play the situation. That's one thing, which I think he does really well. I'll go back to the wagon where we just showed where he's scoring. That might be an area where he can improve slightly. But one thing I admire most about Mohammad Rizwan when I see him play, he's a run thief. You watch him. You watch every shot he plays, he's looking for one. If it's not one, I'm looking for two. He is maximising every ball that he faces. And, of course, naturally, you at home, look at boundaries and sixes and think that's great. But actually what he does in between is a lot that perhaps other batters around the world, and certainly in this competition, can look at as well, because he maximises everything he's got.
Yeah, he's always looking for scoring opportunities, which has been a standout aspect for him. Right, that was the numbers game for you. All right, on that note, it's time to take a short breather, but we'll leave you, like every time, we leave you with some stunning visuals. This story is about the Karigars in Sindh, and remember that these visuals are part of the National Amateur Short Film Festival, and they're there to promote tourism in Pakistan.
साईं सदाई करी मथे सिंध सुकार दोस्त मिठा दिलदार आलम सभा बातू साईं मुझो नालो अब्दुल सत्तार सुमरो है मुझो तालिक ब्रिटिश सिंध सां है असां जेका सिंध जी अजरक ठाहियूं था सुञाणप 5000 साल पुराणी तहज़ीब जेका असांजे ख़ानदानी जेको इहो असांजो ख़ानदानी विरसो आहे अजरक ठाहिणु अजरक ये उहा अजरक है जो का खुदा जे महबूब कई है हिन अजरक के दुआ है जीअं त अजरक ठाहिण जा प्रोसेस काफ़ी ॾुखिया सारा आहिनि पहिरियां जेको कपिड़ो हूंदो आहे बिल्कुलु वाइट हूंदो आहे उनखे असां 5 मीटर जी अजरक हूंदी आहे उनजी कटिंग करे उनखे असां पहिरियों जेको मरहलो आहे उहो खुंभ आहे उन खुंभ खार में मञी उनखे भट्टी ते चाढ़ींदा आहियूं उनखे भट्टी खे चाढ़ण खां पोइ वरी असां उनखे वरी नहर ते खणी वेंदा आहियूं जेको खुंभ उते धोईंदा आहियूं नहर ते उते धोइण खां पोइ वरी असां उनखे सुकाईंदा आहियूं उस ते ऐं सुकाए करे वरी असां उनखे साॼ कढंदा आहियूं 3 बोड़ा साॼ जा ॾींदा आहियूं साॼ खां पोइ वरी असां उनखे नहर ते खणी वेंदा आहियूं जेका कसाई थींदी आहे कसाई पहिरियां त वाइट हूंदी आहे ऐं पोइ वरी उनखे कसाई खे चेंज करण में वरी अहिड़ो लेमन थी वेंदो आहे कलर लेमन थी वेंदो आहे पहिरियां वाइट हूंदो आहे खुंभ बि वाइट हूंदो आहे साॼ बि वाइट हूंदी आहे जेॾीमहिल कसाई वारो प्रोसेस थींदो आहे त लेमन थी वेंदो आहे वाइट मां लेमन थी वेंदो आहे भट्टी ते ईंदो आहे भट्टी खां पोइ वरी उनखे भट्टी ते चाढ़े उनजो अलीजर थींदो आहे जेके मतिलबु हुनजा जेके रंग आहिनि थोरा ज़ाहिर थींदा आहिनि खां पोइ वरी असां उनखे 3 चकर इंडिगो ॾींदा आहियूं इंडिगे खां पोइ उनजी मुकमल जेका तयारी थींदी आहे उहा बिल्कुलु अजरक थी वेंदी आहे ओरिजिनल अजरक तयारु थी वेंदी आहे
Welcome back on pitch side. We're building up nicely. It's Karachi Kings taking on Multan Sultans. And the big news from the center is that Mohammad Amir is not playing. He's not cleared his fitness test. Now, we've seen in the HPL PSL some really good catches being taken, some diving ones, there were a few in the deep as well. But what is the right way to catch a ball? Rouge Mumtaz and Nick Knight caught up earlier and spoke about it.
Well, there's a reason why the best fielding teams normally come out on top, because catches do win matches. I've got Nick Knight alongside. Nick, just generally, what do you make of the standard of fielding so far in the tournament?
I wish I could say I've been hugely impressed. I haven't been. Some of the fielding, some of the catching in particular we're focusing on now has not been great. Let's be honest, it's not easy. You know, take it back to my playing days when you got, you know, it's different, it's a day game today, but you've got a big black sky with a white ball. Sometimes picking it out is a little tricky, and that's proved to be the case. Let's just show you a couple of examples of catches that have gone down. I think Jimmy Neesham here is the first. Now, he's usually got very good hands, but he's put this one down. He kind of overruns this a little bit, and so his head is not really still. And I think we got one here from Shoaib Malik. Again, played a heck of a lot of cricket, doesn't drop many catches. But again, you just see there, he stops and starts again, so his head is a little bit on the move as the ball enters the hands and you're waiting to take that catch.
So in terms of aerial catches, which is just two examples that we're just showing right now, for players watching, young kids watching, what do you want to get right for aerial catching?
Head still. So a lot of the work has to be done here with the legs to get yourself, when you're finally ready to take that catch, you're in a still position, a good base, a bit like batting, bowling, have a good strong base here, so that when the ball comes down, you're taking the catch next to your eye line or as close to your eye line as possible. Now that's not always possible, is it? Because sometimes you've got too much to do. That's slightly different. That's where you just have to rely on having those hands in the right place and a little bit things going for you. But if you can do all the work here really hard, get in position, get still, and then take the catch. So really, the leg work plays a major part in it, so the head's still. If the head is moving around, as in those examples we've just shown, if the head is moving around, it's damn difficult for the eyes to stay still and focus. They can't, and therefore then it makes it that much more difficult for the ball to go into the hands.
So make sure you get off the blocks quickly, get under the ball and keep your head steady so your eyes aren't bobbing around. Well, easier said than done at times. Put you on the spot.
Yeah, before you do that, there's one other point. Focus, concentration and focus. You know, we take ourselves back to our own careers. People watching when they play. When you drop a catch, it's often when you're just drifting a little bit. It might be in the slips, you're talking to your mate. It might be on the boundary edge when actually, you know, someone's giving you a bit of a talking tour, you're having a bit of a tete-a-tete with the crowd, and all of a sudden, what about extra cover? Extra cover, you see this from fielders. Extra cover, I'm ready, the ball's coming to me, I'm in this dynamic position, I'm ready to take the catch. What about a long off? Do you see many fielders that long off like this? Or do you see them long off like this a bit? It's the same thing. The ball could come to you, it could come to extra cover. So if you're really ready and the ball is coming to you, if you're at long off, deep mid-wicket, you're more likely to pick up the line of the ball quicker, you're more likely to get there quicker, you're more likely to catch it.
So concentrate and stay focused. Now, he said all of that. Let's put you on the spot and let's see if you've concentrated and focused enough. Right, here we go.
It's
Nick,
in the sun.
In the sun.
There.
One more, Nick.
Not a great base, but somewhere near the eye line here. You're not going to do another one.
One more, Nick. One more. Just one more. There we go.
So both times I was catching the ball pretty close to my eye line. There you go.
Yep.
Even in the sun, Rouge. Come on.
There it is. Get to the ball quickly. Get strong, stable base. Don't have your head bobbing around. And like he said, most important, concentrate.
Okay.
Come on, Aruj, you should have thrown some difficult ones at Nick Knight. They were absolute dollies, Nick. I'm not going to give you any credit on that. But yeah, remember to hear all the advice that you heard from Nick Knight. Keep your head still. This is what he has to say, and stay focused. On that note, we'll take a short breather. Back on the pitch side and just moments away here from the toss, Karachi Kings take on Multan Sultans. Remember, they've played before and it was quite the nail-biter, that contest. And really, looking back, Karachi should have won. Perhaps they'll look at it that way. But from a Multan Sultans point of view, they've got momentum on their side. I mean, Aruj, we often speak about this. We talk about momentum and how important it is in tournaments. Is it a case of them peaking too early? Because remember, we still got a long way in the tournament.
It's always the case with most teams, and you see that in leagues and in big tournaments, that there's a team that takes off well and does well all the way through, and that slips up that one game which matters most. But I just feel the quality that they have, an all-round quality, whether it's batting with its depth, whether it's bowling with their depth. I just feel Multan Sultan, you give them the least amount of leeway because you feel they'll do well. But if there's one game they want to slip up, and they probably want it to be earlier than later. But I just feel they're a good team, and they bang their chances because they've got confidence on either side with both bat and ball and the quality. So, but cricket's a funny game, and you don't want them to slip up at the wrong time.
Day game, does that change the decision at the toss at all?
Why are you asking? Last time I got it completely wrong, didn't I?
That's why I'm putting it on you.
But I am going to go bat first.
Wrong.
I'm going to go bat first this time.
All right, bat first is what Nick Knight has to say. We saw actually Shadab Khan in the other game as well. The other day, he opted to bat first, which was a surprise, because that's not what we've seen from the team captains so far. They've liked to win the toss and opted to bowl first. Just like to have that target in front of you. That's what we hear from the captains. But Karachi, they have a chance to redeem themselves yet again. And this should be an interesting encounter between these two sides. Let's see what teams they play. We're ready with the toss. And it's over to Danny Morrison.
Super Sunday and all in readiness for the men out in the centre. It's great to be here in Karachi. 14th fixture in Season 8 of the HBL PSL, and it's time for the BFI coin toss. Gentlemen alongside that matter, Mr. Iftikhar Ahmed, lovely to see you as our match referee. Got a blazer on too, looking very sharp, I must say. And the two skippers from Multan, Rizzi. Good to see you, Mohammed Rizwan. And Ahmad Wasim from Karachi Kings, who has the coin, don't you? Thank you, Imi. Hey. It is a head, and I reckon you might stay there. Don't come too close.
No, I'm coming to you.
You're good. Don't bite though, eh? Probably going to bat?
No, ball.
Hey, why?
Because honestly, if you ask me, I can't predict the pitch. I don't understand what is the pitch behavior. I still look like we want to do ball first and the good areas, and let's see how much they're going to do it.
Yeah, this is a bit different from your home track in Multan. It started well, 4 from 5. Do you make any changes?
If you ask me, this is different from not from Multan. This first time I've seen in this pitch in Karachi as well, as I cricket. But I have for this kind of pitch, I have 2 changes. We go with Anwar Ali and Kilo Sen.
And how are you feeling?
Good, very good, always.
Yeah, batting
Alhamdulillah.
well. Yeah, go well.
That's right.
Good to see you, Rizzi.
Yeah, very. Well, very.
Ahmad, he wants to bowl first. You happy to bat first?
Yes, we wanted to bat first on this surface. I think there are a lot of games here, and it's looked a bit tiring, but obviously runs on the board is very important.
Yeah, I think so, in the heat of the day. And so, have you made any changes given the 22 yards?
Yes, we have 2 debutants. Tayyib Tahir is in for Haider, and Tabrez Shamsi in for Imran Tahir, and we put some fast bowling in for Umar. Musa is playing today.
I mean, the confidence still should be there. You've lost some close games, which is annoying, but you've still been playing well enough.
Yes, we've been losing games by 2-3 run margin. Doesn't make any difference. It might be on the other side as well. So what we're thinking now, it's a single league for us. So you go out there, enjoy the game, and the good thing is we've been very good cricket. We're just losing by a small margin, but it doesn't affect us. I know it's in the table we're at the bottom, but the confidence is high.
Go well today, mate.
Thank you.
Well done. Cheers, eh? Right, our news from the centre is that Multan, the visitors, won the toss, going to go up front, and interestingly enough, going to bowl. Speaking of bowling, here's Baz, who loved bowling, but really he preferred to bat, I suppose. Would you have batted first on this, you think, winning the toss?
Firstly, I'd lose the coat and the hat. It is so warm. What's going on, Danny? You're making me sweat.
Oh.
Anyway, it is a used pitch, and just 3 games on it already, you would think that you want to bat first and put runs on the board. That would definitely be the way I'd go, because you feel that it is quite tired. But the fact of the matter is, it is T20. It won't change much. And with the conditions, they won't change much either. There's absolutely no chance of dew either because of the day game. So whatever you want to do or whatever you're comfortable with, that's what Rizwan has done. He's wanted to feel on the bus. With the pitch, it's quite dry. You'd expect a little bit of turn, and you'd expect it to be not as flash as the pitch we saw a day earlier where the ball really came onto the bat. So you'll have to get in and then score.
All I can say is go to it, guys. All the very best.
Yeah, Rizwan opting to field first as well for Multan Sultans, and they've also made a couple of changes for Karachi Kings as well. Arooj, your wish has been answered. Tabrez Shamsi is back. You said he should. I don't know if it's been perhaps a bit too late, but he is finally going to be seen in action.
And not just Tabrez Shamsi, Tayyib Tahir as well. So they provide that good option with the ball and the bat. The one thing I liked what Imad said, that they've been playing good cricket, and they're treating this now as a single league. So they've got the confidence, and if they can turn it around in terms of consistent wins from here on in, you never know. But those 2 changes, I think it's high time they were coming on.
Yeah, it's high time that we saw Tabrez Shamsi in action, Nick, because you look at where he ranks in world cricket, and the fact that he hasn't really played so far. I mean, do you find that to be a little baffling?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of his, actually. When you see him bowl to right-handers in particular, they struggle to hit offside. He loves some targeting that leg side. He has a heavy fortified leg side field. It looks to me like he's got a good game plan. Looks to me like he knows what he's trying to do. It doesn't always work. So I'm a little bit surprised, particularly when your side haven't won many games, that he hasn't had a bit more.
All right.
What do you reckon? What do you reckon about the toss? I got that wrong again, haven't I? I mean, just
your record
don't
has
ask me
been.
next
Your
time.
record has been. Yeah, I'm not going to ask you for predictions next time.
Awful.
That's it.
Good
He
toss
can
to
go.
lose. There you go.
Or you could just stick to your thoughts, and people would know just to expect the reverse.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to. It's not.
Yeah.
I've got it all sorted. I've sorted this all out in my head.
It didn't take you long to work that one out.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You can go back to your commentary box because we are going to take a short break on pitch side. Back on the pitch side, show an extremely hot day here in Karachi. We're all sweating it out here. But I think Karachi Kings, they've made a couple of changes. Multan Sultans has won the toss and they have elected to bowl first. I've been joined by Bazid Khan. Baz, कराची के कुछ चेंजेस हुए हैं जो कि नेसेसरी थे. तबरेज शमसी वापस आए हैं. तैयब ताहिर को जो है आज खिला रहे हैं. मोहम्मद मूसा खान, he's also playing today. So, much needed changes?
I think a couple forced, and they probably looked at their batting and thought they want somebody at the top of the order to make sure that not only get ahead of the game, but also then keep with it. The problem they've had is those mid-overs. After the power play, they sort of tend to drop off. Tayyip Tahir probably will bat 3, and if Vincent Wade can get them off to a start, Tayyip Tahir has that ability to carry on. He plays spin very well, so maybe in the mid-overs, he'll be the one employed to actually go after spin. You know, Malik is cutting as good form as well. Now, Imad Wasim wanted to bat first, and he got that opportunity. I think they need to get off to a start and put runs on the board. I think that's the better way for Karachi to approach a game. Chasing, they've not done too well this season.
They'll definitely need runs on the board with that kind of lineup that Multan has. Arooj Pollard is not playing today. Kyron Pollard is not in the team today, but Anwar Ali and Akil Hussain are the two changes that they've got.
Yeah, I think Akil Hussain's a good change. We know what he's done at the global stage, at the world stage, so he's a very effective spin option. But like we've all been discussing, Karachi will have to get the runs on, because look at that top 5, like Rizwan, Masood, Riley Rassood, David Miller, Khushdil Shah, Carlos Brathwaite. I mean, that's an onslaught, and that's a very, very dynamic onslaught. So I think, but the interesting part was that Rizwan wanted to bowl first, because remember it's their first game at Karachi, right? These are sort of tired surfaces. It is a day game, so conditions won't change much. But both teams have got what they wanted, and slightly more happier for Karachi, because I think it's a game where if they win this, they might just be able to get those clicks right. We talk about Tayyip Tahir. Now, he's got a lot of runs not just long ago. December was the Pakistan Cup, and the one thing it was a 50-over format, but he still kept scoring at 110 plus strike rate. He got that big score 139, so he can bat, and I think that's the missing link maybe.
रोज कहती है conditions don't change much. February है और हमें मुसीबत पड़ेगी इतनी गर्मी में. Conditions don't change much.
ये गर्मी तो किसी को भी बर्दाश्त नहीं, honestly. I mean, it's scorching. It's 33 degrees.
Yeah.
We're boiling out here.
Conditions सिर्फ हमें affect कर रही हैं. इसको शायद और किसी को करें या ना करें. But we're talking about players. We're talking about star players. तो एक जो player हैं Karachi Kings के is James Vince. He's been with them, and obviously he plays all around the world now. But this is actually his last game for Karachi Kings before he heads out. Let's hear his thoughts now.
You know, the mood's fine at the minute. As you say, obviously we'd like a couple more wins. I think if you break the games down into how we've lost and the margin by which we've lost, you know, we could easily be halfway through the competition having won, you know, maybe 4 out of 5 games. So, you know, although the results haven't come yet, you know, we've been playing some good cricket in patches, some very good cricket in patches, but we've not small margins in this game. We've not been able to quite do enough to get over the line. I think probably the other night in Multan was as good as I've struck the ball, but it doesn't count for much when you don't win the game. And the conditions here for batting, or certainly in Multan, were very good. Well, it was a quick assessment of conditions really, and realised that the ball wasn't doing huge amounts. So then trying to put the pressure on the bowlers, keep up with the run rate nice and early, and try and get ahead in the game. Spin, yeah. I think I've just got better at it over the years, probably through experience. I think myself in playing in different tournaments, coming up against quality spinners. I think having faced the good quality spin bowlers more and more over the years has probably given me an indication of what they're trying to do, and highlighted some areas for me in the past where I need to try and improve. It can be tough at times, spending a long period of time away from home, on the road. I think what keeps you going, once you're sort of invested in the team, you don't want to let your teammates down. From the spin point of view, Rashid Khan's obviously done amazingly well and continues to do amazingly well, so I'd say he's certainly up there. The reason we play is to win, and if I can do everything I can from a personal point of view, make contributions to the team winning, then I'm doing my job. So yeah, hopefully we can finish this season strongly and sneak into the playoffs, and then in finals anything can happen.
Yeah, Karachi Kings will be desperate for a win today. They need to be winning today, because we're talking about the fact that ab nahi to kab, I mean, काफी disappointment obvious थी वसीम भाई की शक्ल पे भी when we saw that in the previous game. He was quite frustrated, because it is frustrating when you reach that far. तो आज क्या चीजें वो सही कर सकते हैं?
जीत सकते हैं. It's as simple as that. But I think
कैसे जीत सकते हैं?
उनको confidence इसी चीज से मिलेगा कि वो खेल अच्छा रहे. वो पहले भी बात हो रही थी कि वो key moments पे to hold your nerve and capitalize or cross those key moments is where they've been lapsing a little bit. But I just feel, again, they'll have to get the runs on the board. They'll have to finish off the first half of the match strong, give themselves the best chance. And now जब Tabrez Shamsi आ गए तो they can, I mean, they'd hoped that they could pick up the wickets that they've been lagging with. But runs लगाएंगे board पे, और जिस किस्म का surface है, सुबह का time है यहाँ पर, conditions उस तरह से change नहीं होंगी कि ball कोई due वाला factor नहीं है. But जिस तरह आपने कहा अभी नहीं तो कभी, उनको पता होगा कि क्या चीजें गलत हो रही हैं, but runs लगाएं board पे, give yourself the best.
Runs on the board is what's required. Thank you so much for your thoughts, both of you. And runs on the board, उनको आज मौका भी है, because when Imad came for an interview, he said he would have liked to bat first as well. So उनको मौका मिल गया है, runs बनाएं और वापस आए इस tournament में, because that's what we want to see. We'll take a short break. Be back just in a bit for the first innings.